Sid Roth. Welcome to my world, where it's naturally supernatural. If you've been blessed by this show, please subscribe. Then click the bell so you won't miss a single episode of It's Supernatural.
We now return to It's Supernatural.
So, Rabbi, you are even exploring the use of artificial intelligence as part of the Antichrist system. Explain.
Sure. I think we need to realize there's not just a main Antichrist, but there's a whole Antichrist system that will be developed to control and manipulate humans. And we even see right now in China, they have a social credit score where, like in America, you have to have good financial credit to borrow money. Well, there, they monitor all your social behavior, and you can literally be blocked out of having a passport. Over 11 million people in China have already been denied airline tickets, train tickets, because they're all being monitored with hundreds of millions of AI cameras with facial recognition. And there's even a candidate in New York running for president who wants to implement that here. And then we have these breaches where, many people want to see if they're Jewish, right? And so they do this DNA testing. Right. Well, I've just found out recently that the government is working with the DNA testing site, and they're giving them access to all the DNA so that when they want to find a suspect, to narrow down who their relatives are.
You talk about, I want to concentrate on specific behavior rather than specific names for Antichrist.
Sure.
Explain that.
Sure. I think the main modus operandi of the Antichrist is going to be what I call legalized lawlessness. And what I mean by that, it's a pattern, it's a historical pattern. In Haman, with the book of Esther, they felt like, okay, let's just make it a law to commit genocide and kill all the Jews. That makes it okay. Well, what do we have today but legalized abortion, legalized drugs, legalized, they feel like if they just legalize it, that will make it okay. And so that's where the deception is going to come in.
An example of a type of the Antichrist is the opposite of what most Christians would pick. Rabbi Mark says Solomon is a type of the Antichrist. How did you come up with that conclusion?
You know, in Revelation, it talks about the number of a man, okay? And it says, here is wisdom, and then it brings out 666. You know, the only place in the Bible where wisdom is connected to 666 is King Solomon. It says that's how much gold came into him every year was 666 talents of gold.
I never thought about that.
And everything that God commanded the king to do, Solomon did not do. God told the kings, and this is 500 years before Solomon. They'd already gone through Saul and David. And it said that the king was not to multiply wives. What did he do? The king was not to marry strange wives. The king was not to multiply silver and gold. The king was not to multiply horses. Did you know Solomon was an arms merchant? What would happen today if Netanyahu was selling nuclear material to Iran? That's what Solomon was doing. The modern day tank was the horse and the chariot. He would go down to Egypt, it says, buy the horse and the chariot, and then he would sell it to the Hittites. He would be selling it to the enemy. Solomon, most people don't realize, was the first person to do child sacrifice. He's the one who initiated child sacrifice by building the idols to Molech, okay, Milcom, and Chemosh, and his wives that he had children with offered those children to Molech.
Most of us think of Solomon as just a wise king. But his ending wasn't too wise.
No, it wasn't at all. And when most people think of wisdom, the one thing they think of is he offers to cut the baby in half.
Right.
Well, we know Israel is God's son, and in the last days, this wise Solomon is going to try to cut the nation of Israel in half, cut the baby in half again.
Very interesting. Very briefly, tell me about why you see patterns in the Bible repeating as opposed to, well, it's already happened, so we can forget that prophecy, especially in the feasts.
Yeah, well, the thing is this. When it comes to the feasts, we need to understand that they were called convocations. Now, in Hebrew, the word's mikra, but it implies a dress rehearsal. In other words, every year they would do the rehearsal of killing the Passover lamb on Passover. And they would do it at the time of the evening sacrifice. This is why Yeshua died on Passover at the time of the evening sacrifice. He was buried on unleavened bread. He rose on the Feast of First Fruits. The Spirit of God was poured out on Shavuot or Pentecost. Peter said, well, it's the third hour of the day. These guys can't be drunk. Well, it's the time of the morning sacrifice. And so we see the pattern in Ecclesiastes 1:9. God said there's nothing new under the sun. That which has happened is that what will happen again. And so we need to look at the patterns.
Yeah, there's a view called preterism that's kind of sweeping Christianity. The book of Revelation is already done. But give me that verse again from Ecclesiastes, and you listen to this.
Yeah, Ecclesiastes 1:9. It says, that which has happened is that which will happen again. There is nothing new under the sun.
So much for preterism. Good. Rabbi Mark says the Antichrist will not be Muslim and will not be Jewish. When we come back, Mark gives us an unmistakable tip to decoding the Antichrist. Be right back.
Call now and get Mark Bilt's powerful brand new book, Decoding the Antichrist and the End Times, and his anointed 3-part audio CD teaching set, Antichrist, New Revelations. This is an exclusive offer for our It's Supernatural audience. Yours for a donation of $35. Shipping and handling is included. Ask for offer number 9598. Through Mark Bilt's brand new book, you will understand what the Bible reveals concerning the end times as seen through the eyes of the biblical feasts of the Lord. Understand new revelation from the scriptures concerning the Antichrist, his tactics, and his motivation. Find out the conflicting perspectives of eschatology held by Jews, Muslims, and Christians, and how many unbelievers will accept the Antichrist as their Messiah. Discover if and how the Antichrist will work through modern technology, including artificial intelligence. Understand how to avoid deception and be ready for the glorious coming of Messiah Jesus. Learn how replacement theology, preterism, and partial preterism has caused a spiritual blindness and lethargy to infiltrate the church concerning the events about to take place on God's prophetic calendar. Mark Bilt's 3-part audio CD prophetic teaching series, Antichrist, New Revelations, includes the shocking warning that artificial intelligence can be used by the Antichrist to deceive even the very elect. Artificial intelligence programs can mimic the writing styles and habits of millions of people. Artificial intelligence could be 1 billion times smarter than humans. There are warnings concerning artificial intelligence programs and the companies that own them. If